So I treated myself to another camera body, just an upgrade. Previously, I was using a Sony A7 III. I had two of those, and I upgraded one of them to a Sony A7 III. Now, to the untrained eye, you may not notice, a difference really in what the footage looks like. And I won't bore you with, showing you the old footage. I think you know where to find it. I don't feel like the old footage is really that worth looking at anymore. But and it's not that my old camera wasn't as good in terms of the quality. It could shoot the same quality, but I talk a lot about shooting in slow motion and things like that. I You probably can't hear this dog, but this dog is scratching and this yeah, that's quieter. His collar's jingling and all this stuff. But anyway, completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, you may not notice a difference. My old camera, there wasn't really an issue with the quality, but I tried to film a video about this camera the other day and I just got like completely overwhelmed with trying to like show everything that was going into my rig. But I'm just going to put it together today. And then at the end, I'll show you everything that I filmed so far with the new body. Now, originally I wanted a camera that was a little bit more fancy, but when I was looking into it, I realized that this camera, the new one that I got, and I put a cage around it. The cage looks a lot like the old cage I had. This camera looks a lot like the old camera I had. But originally I wanted something a little bit more fancy than this, but I talked to my wife about it and she was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, which she wasn't wrong. And I had a plan for how to get it and how I was going to be able to, pay for it. And then I'm real big on doing payment plans and things like that. But, we were just kind of like, maybe not. So I went ahead and got this one and didn't even talk to my wife about that one. But I did save a little money getting this one compared to the one that I was going to get. And I don't necessarily have to wait to be able to figure out, when this is going to be paid off, when that's going to be paid off, whatever have you. So this is the new camera, the A7S III. I was going to say, is she texting me right now? I don't know. I'm getting texts from all kinds of people. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this together. So and I actually just took this apart. So everything's not going to be like how it is when I pull it out of my bag. Normally I would have the lens already attached to the camera. But A7S III body, I got the Sony 70-200 G Master 2 lens. I'm going to throw that on here. And I got the small rig top handle that goes with this cage. My original cage came with this handle and like an HDMI clamp. But I sold that cage and that clamp with that camera, because the clamp on this camera would be different anyway. So starting with this, now I power my rig with a V-mount battery. So this is the V-mount plate that I use, which is also a small rig that I bought separately. But this bad boy just slides right on there to the bottom of here, because I'm going to put the battery. The way I like try to line this up is funny. I'm always looking like I'm looking down the barrel of the lens. But the battery, this bad boy, they call it a V-mount because it's V-shaped in the back. That just goes right on here. I'm like, oh, did it click? I think it clicked, because it's not coming off. Like, I can't even ever tell that it's on there. But so V-mount battery. So from here, I power the camera and I power the monitor, which the monitor is going to go on top. This is a Portkeys PT6 monitor. It's 600 nits of brightness. If you don't know what that means, it's not super great for outdoors. So that's going to be one thing I'm looking into upgrading. And again, not getting too technical, because this camera isn't really technical, and a lot of people who follow me aren't actually doing photography and stuff. It's just mostly people I know in real life that are just checking in on, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So I won't get too far into the tech specs and things like that, but there will be a link down below where you can see a list of everything that I have, and it'll kind of give you a little bit more detail there. But with the V-mount, I power the camera, but the camera has to have a battery inside it for me to power it via USB, which is how I have been doing it, because you can use dummy batteries, and that's usually like a culprit of absolutely frying your camera, and I don't want to do that. So this is a little bit long, so I'll wrap it around the handle twice, always. There we go. I was like, where's the hole? I am going to get a new HDMI cord. I'm going to get a stretchy one, kind of like how this is. But until then, I'm using this one that came with the port keys monitor. God, it's so stiff. Ugh. I hate it. Okay. So I got that plugged in. I learned after filming with this whole setup for a day, I have to power the camera out of the USB-C port on my V-mount battery. Normally, I would use USB-A to C. A on the battery, C on the camera. But that doesn't work for this camera. I think this camera needs a higher voltage. So I'm just going to use this USB-C to C cable just for the sake of setting this up for this video. But I tested this earlier, and this works in terms of the battery like trickling, or not even trickling, it was just depleting at a normal rate. I was like, all right, cool. One thing that I know for sure changed things a lot is this filter I put on the front of my lens. When I film and I use this, it's like sunglasses for the lens. Basically, when I was shooting videos before, they weren't looking right because I was shooting at the complete wrong settings for video. Like, my background is from like photography, and I hadn't done photography in a really long time until this past summer. But I was exposing the image the complete wrong way. And in order for me to expose it the right way, I would need to let a whole lot more light in, so the picture would be way, way, way too bright. So essentially, I would need to put some shades on the lens, basically. And now that I'm shooting at better settings, I can absolutely see the difference in the footage. And you may notice if you take the time and go back and look at some other videos on the channel, or on not on YouTube, because this is on YouTube. What do you call that? Instagram. If you go on Instagram and look, you might notice a difference. But I'm very happy with the way the footage has been coming out. Now that I actually know what the hell I'm doing in terms of being a videographer. But being a videographer is different. It's so different from photo. But last thing I'm putting on here, though, is my Rode Video Mic Go 2 microphone. I just tossed this little guy on here. And this is basically the rig. This is the whole setup. So again, Sony A7S III body. I got the Sony 70-200G master lens. My other lens is a Tamron 35-150. That one does not leave the camera body during basketball season. It's the perfect lens for basketball, and probably just any indoor sports, honestly. And so I got the small rig cage on here, small rig top handle. The monitor mount is also from small rig. The Portkeys PT6 monitor came with its own monitor mount, but I didn't like it. I use it every now and then for, actually there's one thing I'm forgetting that I don't want to get off my bag, but I use that Portkeys monitor mount sometimes for, oh, my wife's calling me. Oh my God, it's like she knows. Hello? Hey. Where was I? I got no idea. We started talking about dinner and all types of stuff. No idea where I was. But yeah, I'm happy with how the footage looks now. Now that I've tweaked my settings and I've gotten the chance to be able to shoot at in a higher quality and be able to do that slow-mo thing that I love so dearly. So what I'm going to do is, so far I've gone to basketball practice and I've gone to shoot one flag football game with this new setup. So now that you see what the setup is looking like, I'm going to go ahead and show you the little footage from basketball practice and footage from the flag football game. And actually, the basketball practice, I did a video for practice, but I also did a video for after practice, or one of the coaches was working out, one of his friends who plays basketball at D1 level, I believe. So then it's going to be kind of 3 videos, sort of. But yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think it looks different. Let me know if you like how it looks now compared to how it used to look. I do. If you don't like it, okay, that's you. You know, it's a personal thing. But yeah. I'm looking forward to really getting comfortable and learning the ins and outs of this camera rig. And obviously, you know, there's small things I want to change, just like, you know, different cables and a little better cable management, things like that. Even the placement of where I put my microphone is different on a day-to-day basis, probably. Sometimes I put the microphone, instead of putting it down here, I'll put it up here in front of the monitor, so it's sitting out further, you know, further from the body. I did just remember what I was going to say, though, before I show you these videos. The Insta360 camera that I use as my, like, behind-the-scenes camera when I'm shooting, that normally goes on a rig. Normally, I put it on, like, a little magic arm, a little articulating arm. I'd stick that on the side of here, and it would come out, and I'd just, like, funnel it through, and it'll sit basically right on the side where it can see the monitor. It can see the monitor, it can see past the monitor, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing and see what the camera's seeing. Plus, I'll have the picture-in-picture normally of, you know, what the camera's seeing. But that's enough talking for me. Enjoy the footage.
On the hold. On the hold. You gonna drop down? All right, that's cool. Up to the short corner. Come on, Kyle, all the way around.
You take this side, you can drive in the middle. Cool. Y'all exchange. Drive in the middle. There you go, good. Good.
You're holding her here. Go, 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 get it!
Pass is intercepted.
Go, go, go! Yeah! Good job, Bree! Good, Bree! Yeah!
Intercepted.
Go to the right, to the right!
Hey, don't kick it. All right, good job, bro.
Cheese.